All right, we are live. Hello, everybody. My name is Ian. This is Starship Adventures. And tonight on the Sights and Sounds of Earth, we've got a number of things to talk about. We have protests going on in Portland and Chicago and in a number of different places, LA, and we're going to be talking about all that. That's what the top two screens up there are. I've got up just some basic news there in the upper left, Fox Now, and they're just running through the like a what they call a news wheel, which they're just running through the top 10 headlines. And then right below that, I've got these are all the latest images of our latest tropical storm out there, Tropical Storm Imelda. Imelda. There you go. I got to use the name tonight because they've named it. So there you go. Um, we've got that going on. We're going to talk in depth about that situation as well. We also have the uh, uh, situation that happened at the LDS Church in Michigan. I've got a full list of things to talk about on that as well. Another devastating incident, another attack on Christians. Uh, yeah, it is what it is. So we're going to be going through all of that now. I've got several cameras up here from the Bahamas, and you can see those there on the right, and in the radar, which should be in motion, but it's not. Why is it not working? Well, guess what? I'll just restart it. You'll put up with that crap. All right, so we're going to take radar Omega, and we're going to go ahead and put it in motion. There we go. You can see the rotation center down there, right about where they've got it pinpointed. There by the green logo, and it is still forecast to make this hard right turn in about 36 hours. We do have a storm chaser down here in Florida. Vince from Weather Eye is down here in Florida. So Vince, we're glad to have you. He's one of our big nationwide storm chasers out there, but I really don't see that he's going to have that much to chase. Hey, any excuse to come to Florida, right? So there you go. All right, so we're going to keep this up. We're going to be talking about the storm in depth tonight. Like I said, over there, all the way over, the two cameras there with the rain on the lens, those are both moving cameras at two different resorts on Nassau in the Bahamas, and they are right now in a tropical storm. Not a very powerful one, of course, but they are right now in a tropical storm. The internet is up. There's a big problem with these islands when they take a bad storm. A lot of times, the internet is very quick to go out. This storm being somewhat weak, we're able to still have complete internet coverage there on the Bohemian Islands. So that's very nice. Anyway. There we go. That is it. That is Imelda. It sounds like one of Sam's kids on Bewitched. Anyway, so there we go. Like I said, I've got a bunch of different things to talk about. I think I'm going to go ahead and lead with this attack that happened about 10:25 a.m. Eastern time today. It happened. It was a huge response. This guy actually rammed his truck into the front of the church while services were going on. So I think they were in communion. Um, Drove through the front doors, breaching the entrance. He exited, opened fire with an assault rifle as worshippers fled. He also set the building ablaze, believing to be the fire was believed to be deliberately set by him as well, worsening the damage. And now we just got word they have found two bodies in the rubble. So now our death count is up to four. Four dead. I don't count him. He's dead too, and that's good. But I don't count him as a fatality because he created this problem for himself. But we do have four dead, two from shooting and two, I think, from the fire. This is just heartbreaking. At least four people so far confirmed dead. 8 people also confirmed shot and injured by gunfire. They are all in the hospital. 2 of the deaths were confirmed later inside the church ruins after the fire was extinguished. I'm not even going to say the gunman's name. I'm sick of these guys. I'm sick of them. I'm not going to say their name anymore on my show because you know what? None of us know this asshole, right? So from now on, these guys that shoot up churches and shoot up schools and shoot up this and shoot up that, let me tell you something. I'm not going to say their name anymore. I'm not going to say their name anymore. I don't know. I think it's a good idea. Let me see if I can get my chat room to come up. Okay, good. There we go. The numbers are coming up pretty quick tonight. That's good. Hello, everybody. Hello, Victor. Hello, Heath. No, we're doing good. Yeah, I drove to Venice this morning, and I'm back. I've been working around the studio for the last 2 or 3 hours, just getting things going here, and putting out a few posts. I wanted to be nice and prepared for tonight's broadcast. There's a lot going on. So, and Junior, hello. The church has confirmed that he's not a member of the church, nor do they know who he is, nor is he disgruntled with them that they know of. That's from the LDS church. They have confirmed that he is not a member of their church. They don't know who he is, and they don't believe he has a beef with the church, with that particular church. This is more than likely just random. He is 40 years old. He is from Burton, Michigan. I'm going to tell you this because it's, this stuff could be important. But his name is just going to be Asshole. He was killed in an exchange of gunfire with responding police. 2 officers engaged him and took him down. The entire incident, from first call to the neutralization of the suspect, 8 minutes. I commend these guys. They got there quick. They put him out of our misery. That's when you shoot up a church. That's about all the sympathy you get from me. They put you out of our misery. Attendance and congregation size. Hundreds of worshipers were inside the church at the time of the attack. The service had begun earlier that morning, around 10 a.m. worship service, plus an 11 a.m. gospel study scheduled. I know LDS. I'm not real big into religion as far as knowing all the different ones. I read an article earlier that was written by somebody in the church, and they said that their services are generally a little longer than some of the other denominations, and that there could be 2 or 3 segments that last as much as 2 hours. The church is a complete loss. It burned up. And I know why. They probably weren't sure there was a second gunman, so they wouldn't let the firemen go in, and they all stood there and watched it burn down. That abundance of caution's fine unless you got a fire burning, and then that abundance of caution ends up burning these people's building to the ground. Yes, it was a Latter-day Saints church, yes. Fire was contained midday, about 12:45, 2 or 3 hours later. The structure is pretty much a complete loss with a partial collapse. Officials believe more victims may remain inside. I just discussed, they just announced 2 additional bodies were found inside. That brings the death to count to 4. The motive is not yet confirmed and remains under active investigation. Law enforcement is investigating a possible connection to the subject's residence and digital records. They're serving search warrants. You bet your ass They've already served search warrants at his house, if he's living in his mom's basement, whatever. Um, who knows on this one? 40-year-old Marine, former Marine. He did see active duty in the desert, and so I don't know. Um, Two officers responded, one from the Michigan Department of Natural Resources and one from Grand Blanc Township. That's an example of how, in these areas where the cops are really spread out, they all got each other's radios. They've all got patches on their radio frequencies, and they can literally they hear it. This was a natural resources Department of Natural Resources cop and a Blank Township cop. Ended up they were the first two. They were the closest units, and they both pulled up. They worked together and they took this guy out. The FBI and the ATF are assisting the investigation. More than 100 FBI agents were reported to be involved in the response. They have got to be stretched thin. Everything from Charlie Kirk all the way to now. I mean, there's been about 5 or 6 different large FBI things going on, plus all the other stuff that we don't know about too. No, there's no motive yet. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer publicly condemned the act. Of course she did, calling the violence unacceptable in the house of worship. It's unacceptable anywhere, first of all. The fact that it's in a church just makes it worse. Former President Donald Trump was briefed. Why does it say former President Donald Trump? This chat GPT, man, it's got its heads up the left's ass, if you know what I mean. President Donald Trump was briefed and described it as a possible a targeted attack on Christians. And I agree. You know, you don't drive through the front door, shoot up a bunch of people, and then burn the building down. And then engage cops and get shot and killed by cops. Unless there's a pretty good motive. And I don't think it's that, I don't think it's that he don't like the church. I think it's that I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know if this is a leftist, like the last 3 or 4 attacks. I don't know if this is a crazy. It could just be someone that has some kind of issue with their, mental issues that involve their service overseas or whatever. I don't know. I can't pass judgment on that. I don't even see enough evidence for me to come up with an opinion yet on what the motive was. But we're going to keep an eye out for that, because it will be coming out. I will tell you, as always, and this is my thing, the longer it takes for them to tell us the name of the guy and the motive, the farther left the motive is. In other words, if it's some crazy guy that went to war and shot the place up, they'll probably tell us that pretty quick. If it's a transgender guy that wrote shit on his bullets and shot up it'll be tomorrow or the next day before we find that out. They always slow that stuff down. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. I will tell you that we're at about 82% right now. Last I ran the numbers, 82% of these attacks over the last 2 years, including the 2 attempts on Donald Trump's life, Charlie Kirk, most of the school attacks, most of the building attacks, different things that have gone on, most of them have been far left extremists. This violence coming from the far left, it's starting to get a little scary, and I think they're trying to stifle speech and everything else. This one, though, could go either way. I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. It may not be political at all. It may not be religious at all. It may just be some nutbag crank that decided to drive his truck to a church and burn it up. But there has to be a motive. But let's see what happens. We have to wait. It was a Chevy Silverado pickup truck into the building. Reports suggest improvised explosive devices may have been found in the vehicle. The church went up really fast, and it's a complete loss. Chances are the guy had quantities of accelerant, like gasoline or something with him, or he had an improvised explosive device. Report suggests something like that. 10:25 a.m. First 911 call received. 10:25. Okay, 35 seconds, 25 seconds later, after the call was dispatched, the first unit reported arriving on scene within the first minute. So the cops were nearby, and that saved lives. 10:33, suspect down. 8 minutes. 8 minutes from arriving to suspect is neutralized. That's what they have to do when you sign up to be a cop. I signed up to be a cop. I was a cop for 8 years. I ran towards the gunfire. It's a deal I made with the community. And that's always the way I looked at it. I was a firefighter. I crawled into burning buildings for a living. For a long time. But I always looked at it as, this is the deal that I agreed to do for the community. And I did. That's always how I looked at it. Sorry guys, let me reset these things. They've got like a 15-minute timeout on them. There we go. And I always looked at it as, hey, I made an agreement. I swore an oath to the Constitution, and I swore an oath to try to do everything I could to protect life and property inside my district. You know, and you do it, you know. And I'm glad to see cops are running towards the gunfire again, because they were starting to get a pretty bad name. There was a lot of coward bullshit going on. These guys, man, they got there, they went up, and they took him out. That's what you got to do. There's no bullshit. Heath, I have not heard that. Yes, Heath, recently that seems to be the trend. On your first one there, and the second one, yeah, I have not heard the thing about the bug sprayer, but I will look. I'm getting through this list here. Statistically, this does count as a mass shooting event for 2025. Let's see here. Of the wounded, one person was in critical condition and 7 others were stable. Multiple hospitals are treating victims, many in serious or and one is unstable. Authorities have confirmed there is no ongoing threat to the public. The area around the church has been secured and access has been restricted. Duh, you think? A reunification site was established at the Trillium Theater for families that were separated. Trillium. I think that was on Star Trek. Local officials and church leaders have called for calm and cooperation as the community recovers. This is weird. And this is why this also makes me go, This attack occurred one day after the death of Russell M. Nelson. Now, for those of you who don't know, Russell M. Nelson is the former president of the LDS Church, and he died at age 101 years old. Now, there's a fact here. When I saw this, let me see if I can go back and find it here. Just give me a second, because I don't think it's on my rundown. Oh man, there's stories coming in about how they all shielded their children in there when that broke out. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this guy had a wife named Wendy. Okay, she's still alive too, or she's still alive. He just died. They had 10 children. Those 10 children had 57 grandchildren. And those 57 grandchildren had 167 great grandchildren. This guy died at 101 years old with 167 great grandchildren. Yes, the death toll is at 4. I reported that when we started. There's 2 more now attributed to death by fire, and 2 by the shooting. So that's where we're at right now. Um, all right, so let's see where we're at here. The FBI is leading parts of the investigation. The ATF's also involved. The building is considered a total loss. Faith community deeply affected by the violence. Well, yeah, I mean, let me tell you something. You guys know I speak from a weird place. I'm in the media now, both professionally and here on YouTube. And I used to be a cop. I even worked in security for a while. I used to be a firefighter. I retired as the chief of a department. I've got a lot of different experiences. One night, after all this, there was a bunch of stuff going on, and there was attacks in Israel and everything, and there was an attack on a synagogue here in this country, and these poor Jewish people, all they wanted to do was get together and have their church service, and they had to hire me to stand out front with my gun. What was I going to do? And I had to stand out in front of the church, right in front of the doors, with my pistol, so that if someone drew a gun and started firing, I could shoot them and take them out. And I did those gigs for a while, and I felt bad. And they always fed me. They're just the nicest folks. And it really, I mean, I don't know. I felt bad taking their money, but I mean, I'm working through a company, but I felt bad because I'm like, this is all because some asshole firebombed a Jewish synagogue and some other guy did something else, and there's stuff going on over in Israel. And it's like, this really sucks. And yeah, so I don't know. What do you do? And now here it is, the Christians, it's the Christians under attack. Of course, the Jews are always under attack. It's bullshit what they go through. And now the Christians are feeling the heat too. You know who they're being attacked by? This is the part that screws me up. Do you know who's attacking the Christians mostly? Now, I can't speak for this event yet, but up to now, you know who's doing all the attacks? Atheists. Atheists are attacking people of faith. It's ridiculous. Think about that. In history, it's always been the Muslims and the Christians, or the Christians and the Jews, or the Muslims and the Jews, or the Hindus and the. But no. Christians are now in a fight with atheists, with non-believers. It's a weird thing. It's bizarro world. Yeah, see, I don't get into the whole religion thing too deeply. Um, I couldn't tell you the difference between a Mormon this, an LDS that, a Baptist this, a Church of God that. I've heard things along the way. Some dance with snakes. I don't really know a lot about it. I am very spiritual. I do believe in Jesus Christ, and I do believe in karma, and that it follows you after death. And I do believe in reincarnation. Um, so I guess you can call me a cafeteria Catholic, because I'll take a little of this and a lot of that. I think that's funny. Anyway, okay, I'll leave it there. What the hell's going on outside? So anyway, that's where we're at. This was a big church too. It's a shame they lost their entire church. I'm sure there was offices in there. I'm sure there was classrooms. They lost the whole damn thing. The incident adds to a growing pattern of violence against houses of worship nationwide, amplifying concerns about security at these sanctuaries. What do you do? Okay, so they hire me. I'm a former cop. I'm pretty good with a gun. I got my 9mm on. I got my extra 2 mags. I got my bulletproof vest. I got my 2-way radio so I can call my dispatcher who doesn't know where I'm at or what I'm doing or cares. And I think I had a can of spray. And I'm standing and I'm thinking to myself, I'm looking out there and this gasoline tanker puts his blinker on in front of this shopping center where this church is. And I'm like, he's turning in here. And he come turning in here and he come barreling up the road. And I'm standing there with my hand on my gun and I'm like, what do I do? If he puts the hammer down and he starts heading for the front of this church with this gasoline tanker, what am I going to do? Do I try? Because we all know 9mm doesn't really penetrate windshields. What am I going to do? You can't stop it. 16-ply tires, 9mm doesn't go through those. What do you do? And this plagued me, and I called my boss after the first night, and I said, look, I want to tell you, I feel bad for these people, and I'll continue doing these gigs, no problem. But what am I supposed to do? He says, well, first of all, do everything you can short of getting yourself killed. I said, yeah, I had that figured out from the manual, but well, what do I don't know what, he says, look like you're there. By the way, the gas tanker was lost. He was just turning around. He stopped and asked me directions. And when he stopped, I flagged him on down and I met him down away from the church because I didn't even want him sitting in front of the church. But yeah, weird stuff like that. And man, you nicest folks ever, man. They used to bring me some of the most awesome food. I used to feel so bad sitting out there eating those people's nice food, taking their money, all because some assholes went out and shot up synagogues. Anyway, yeah, there's protests tonight. This is L.A., Portland, and Chicago. The 2 channels that I'm using here purport to be live, and they like me tried. I know these 2 channels. They try to keep it live, so I'm leaving these up. They seem to be going okay. Also, upper left there, that's the Fox Now channel. They don't mind if I put that up in the corner real small like that. And then I got right above me here, I got the all the rolling slides. Those are all current as of right before the show. Yeah, I don't think, I don't know. They are, they're anti-law and order protests. They don't, like Chicago, they don't want the federal government coming in there. But the ones in LA are anti-ICE. So the protesting's regional. Portland, they're basically, they're protesting because they want it to be like the Purge, I think. They're literally protesting law and order. Hey, Car, what's up? How's it going? So yeah, Heath, it's weird. There's three different towns I mentioned have 3 slightly different protests. There's one weird thing with these protests. You'll look at these protests and they'll be protesting like Wall Street or something back when they were doing the 99%ers and all that. And they were interviewing people down the row of that were marching, and they come across these 20 women that had vagina hats on. And they're like, what's with the vagina hats? And they're like, we're marching today for women's rights and for vagina rights and all this weirdos. And they go by, and then the guy with the mic goes up to the next people and he's like, what are you guys protesting today? We're LGBTQ and we're protesting for better, more days that are devoted to LGBTQIA2S+, da 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 da. And then they take the mic and they go up to the next guy and they're like, hi, what are you protesting? I'm protesting the price of cat food. I can't even afford to feed my goddamn cats. And then they go right up to the next person. So tell me, sir, ma'am, crazy lady with the blue hair, what are you protesting? Tell me what you're protesting. And they stick it up. I'm protesting for the right to kill that baby in my womb. I want it dead. I want it dead. And they go, okay, go on. And then go up to the next person. Yeah, hey, yeah, your group here, what are you protesting? Free beer in college, free beer in college. You know what? I swear to God, it was the funniest thing. Nobody at that protest was protesting for the same thing. You have the same problem out here. I don't know if you notice, 80% of the people in the ICE protests are white women. Because, I hate to say this, but I want you to think about it. Hispanic people that are here legally, they don't want to cause no trouble. They're here legally. They did it the right way. Hispanic people that are here illegally, they don't want to cause no trouble because they'll get taken out of the country. So, who's showing up for the riots? Who's showing up for the civil unrest? Who's showing up for the march? I'll tell you, it's the white women, because that's what makes up the radical wing for the most part of the far left. It's just an interesting thing. All right, anyway, vagina hats. Trey and I love joking around on the radio show about vagina hats. We just love the girls in the vagina hats. And we even joke around. It's like, if you get a new girlfriend, the first thing you got to do when you're left alone in her room is check that closet for a vagina hat. Oh my goodness. Where the white woman at? Oh boy. I'll tell you. So anyway, this is a tragic thing that happened today at the church there, and that's it. I'm not going to dwell any longer. We are going to go ahead. I'm going to transition into some tropical coverage. They're now, of course, the forecasting was wrong. They're now forecasting it's going to make a much quicker turn. Say in about 24 hours, you'll see the blinker come on, and it's going to make this hard right turn, this storm. All right, so I want to get back to that so we can discuss it here. Even though you are seeing right above me, those are all within an hour old. And there's your intensity forecast right there. You can see there that most models now bring it up to hurricane force. And look at that. There's your right turn. Look at that. I mean, it's pretty right, a pretty hard turn. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up on a little bit bigger screen so you guys can see it here. Give me just a second as I achieve that. There we go. There we go, you guys. All right, so there we go. There is your current forecast from the National Hurricane Center. Tropical Storm Imelda. Imelda. Blinker fluid. At the fire station, we used to send like if we had a new rookie, we would send him down to the auto parts store. And we knew the guys at like 3 or 4 of the auto parts stores. So we'd send him to an auto parts store, and we'd send him to get 2 muffler bearings, 6 spark plugs for a V6 diesel Detroit engine, and 2 gallons of blinker fluid. And God, we used to have so much fun with that. And they'd call us and they'd go, they won't have the muffler bearings till next week because the guys are screwing with them. And they're saying now that they don't have that blinker fluid. You'll have to go. So they'll end up. All right, we'll send him down to AutoZone. So he'll go down to AutoZone, walk in, same thing. And the guys there know when he asks for muffler bearings and spark plugs for a diesel. By the way, spark plug diesels don't have spark plugs. Anyway, and of course blinker fluid. The guys would know that we're screwing around with a rookie. And so they'd spend 15 minutes trying to find those items. And they'd always tell him, no, man, we don't have any of that stuff. You got to go down. And they kept sending him down the road till he'd end up way down in South Fort Myers somewhere. That's the kind of stuff we used to do to rookies. It's better than some of the shit they did at rookies at other places. Um, yeah. All right. So anyway, this is your there's your forecast. Currently 40 miles an hour. Forecast to strengthen up to a hurricane by 2 p.m. Tuesday. But by the time it becomes a hurricane, it's already going to have made that right turn and be heading out to sea at a pretty good clip. So there you go. Let's see. I'm going to go back over to Mike's weather page. As you guys know, that's what I use. Here's your two storms together. This is what we're looking at. That's it. Those two storms. I think that other storm is a fetch. It's like it's drawing it, and I think that's part of what we're seeing here. I haven't even spoke to anybody about that, but I think this is kind of a draw or a fetch, because we've got a much larger storm nearby, which is fairly rare in hurricane land. All right, so that's what we got there. That's the storms we currently have out there right now. There's not a whole lot to show you. Let's go over to tropical tidbits, and here, there you go. Look at the sharp turn they've got on this thing, and no part of the United States is in any part of the cone at this point. There you go. Hey, Carr is looking for a couple of subs. If we could get her some subs there, I would appreciate it. She is just about to hit 1,000, and you guys know how important it is to hit the 1,000 subs. So let's help her out. Let me see if I can. There she is. I'm trying to get her link up for you guys. If you guys could do me a personal favor and go get her over 1,000, that would be awesome. She only needs 9. There's 20 of you in here right now. So y'all could do me a favor and do that. There's her channel. You can see it right there on the screen. And she does nice videos and cool stuff over there. So, check it out. Anyway, there you go. So let's get back over to Mike's weather page. And there's really not a lot to show you. Here's that intensity, the intensity forecast. You can see there most of them now bring it up to hurricane force. Trying to get my epic pen to go. But yeah, almost every single model now brings it up to hurricane force. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 models now that bring it up to Cat 2. So I think it's possible it'll strengthen to a Cat 2 as it's pulling away. But again, it's going to be pulling away. So it's not really going to be that big a deal. This storm is really not a big deal anymore because of this right turn that we're expecting. We're not expecting really any severe weather here in the United States, and that is pretty much that. There's not really much else to tell you about that. There on the radar, you can see that's the National Weather Service radar out of Miami, Florida, and you can see the rotation out there right about where the center is plotted there in the green. They're green because they're color coded. You can see the one up there is yellow because it's supposed to be a hurricane when it reaches that point up there. Let me reset. Oh no, those are okay. They're still up. Okay, those two views on the right there are live. Those are both in Nassau, in the Bahamas. Bahamas is a big destination for cruise ships out of Florida. One of many stops down there in the Southwest Atlantic and Northern Caribbean that a lot of different people go to. Yeah, there's her channel. If you guys could, please go give her a sub. If it's not your kind of content, just leave the bell off, but just give her the sub. So I want to get her over 1,000. You don't have, she's worked really hard on this channel. And I've been trying to get her over that hump. So if you guys can help me with that, I'd appreciate it. Just go to that link and just hit the subscribe. That's it. Okay. All right. So that's the two things there. of course, the storm and the shooting situation, and then the civil unrest. Now, I don't know if these videos, if they're live, they must be in LA. I think this is in LA. The ones on the far left up there, those are probably in Chicago where it's dark now. I'm trying to figure out where we're at. I believe the ice protests are what you're seeing in most of those little views there. Oh, this guy. Uh, oh, for Christ's sake. That was Portland Andy. All right, so anyway, what do we got here? Yep. All right, thank you for those of you that went over and subscribed. Let's see what we ended up with. 995. Come on, 5 more. Thanks, Bill. I appreciate it. It's Pam from the public executions for Jesus. I love it. I wanted to make sure I was reading that right. I didn't want to say the wrong thing. There we go. 996. We're almost there. 4 more. As you guys know, you get to start your monetization, your full monetization process at 1,000. So important. Um, Heath, it's just Carlotta Alata. At Carlotta Alata. Just like it sounds. Just like it says on her thing. Just take the space out. Hey, Pam. There we go. $9.98. I feel like Jerry Lewis. Let's go to the tote board. Can I get a timpani? Okay, boy, that's an old reference. I know most of you guys just went, what the hell did he just say? When I was young, I was a big fan of the Jerry Lewis telethon. I used to watch it every year. I'd stay up all night watching it. It was a goofy thing. I don't know why. It was goofy. I loved Jerry Lewis. I loved Ed McMahon. I loved Sammy Davis Jr., baby. And I loved what these men did for these poor kids that were stricken with this disease. And I, even as a kid, I loved the MDA telethon, and it was always on one of my multiple screens. Yeah, I had multiple screens even as a kid. And I loved to watch the telethon. And I loved how each town would have their phone numbers, and it would show, you would go to different towns and see what they're doing in that town for Jerry's kids. And man, I'm very nostalgic about muscular dystrophy telethons. And then when I got in the fire department, one of the first things I did when I got promoted to lieutenant was I started our own chapter there for MDA, and we started going out with boots every year, and we were raising $10,000 a year in my little volunteer fire department. We had 8 or 9 paid guys like me, and we had about 40 volunteers. Small department, not that big. We covered about 35 square miles, about 10 or 12,000 residents, plus a highway and a railroad track and some pretty dangerous shit. But anyway, the point was we would go out there with boots, and bam, 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 we'd raise money, and we would go down in our uniforms, and we'd present the money. And the guys that did the most time out on the side of the road, we would put them in our best uniforms, and we would drive down to wherever it was, usually in Bonita, where they had their studio. Back then, it was WZVN, um, or WEVU, even back then, and even further back. Um, and we would drive down there, and we would go hang out. We'd always get there an hour early because the green room was full of food. You don't send 5 firemen up to the green room for an hour. There won't be any food left. Oh, and our big Class A dress uniforms wouldn't fit by the time we come out of there. But yeah, and then we would go down and we would hang out, and we would go on the air. Sometimes they have us answer phones and take donations and stuff. We used to love it. I did it every year. I was the MDA person for years. I was very much into philanthropy. And most of the money we raised was for our own fire department. But that was the one exception. We raised about 10 grand a year on average, and it all went to muscular dystrophy. We didn't take a cut of that. Um, yep. Tony Orlando would always come sing. Yeah. Tie a yellow ribbon. Yeah, of course. But there was always good performances. There was also shit on there. I didn't care. In the middle of the night, they'd have like the guy come out with the talking parakeets and shit. They just fill in air, stretch, stretch, stretch. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I used to love the Jerry Lewis Telethon. We'd have it on at the firehouse the whole day and the whole night. It was a 24-hour telethon. Jerry would come out at 7 o'clock in the evening or 8 o'clock in the evening. I think it went 25 or 26 hours because it was on during both of the prime times from like 7 to 9. And it would start at 7 and go till the next day, I think, at 9. And then as Jerry got older, they started cutting that down. I think the last one was like 12 or 18 hours or something. But it went all the way 24 hours through the night. And I would always keep it on and watch it. I don't know, there was just something about it. I had a connection with it. And I raised a lot of money for that over the years. During the 15 years that I did the MDA stuff, we raised $150,000 for muscular dystrophy. Just my little firehouse. And I hope we did some good. I think we did. Yep, it was good. It was really good. All right, so that's what we got there. Let me reset those damn screens again. I like those shots coming out of the Bahamas, but I got to recycle these screens every 15 or 20 minutes. But I do like those two shots because you can really see the wind on the screens there. You can see the wind. These protests bring out a fun smattering of folks, if you know what I mean. Just all kinds of different people. Oh, there's Pootie. Douchebag. Yeah, um, Google says it was 21.5. That was probably the last season or the last 5 of them or whatever. Because when I was younger, um, it filled both of the two primetime slots. So it was like 26 hours. But yes, they did cut it way back. They did cut it way back because Jerry was getting old, Ed was getting old, Sammy was already gone, and it was getting more and more difficult to do that telethon. And remember, the radio stations and the TV stations, they gave their airtime for free. And ABC and eventually some of the other, there was other networks that did it too. A lot of the ones I did when I would go down with the fire department in my Class A uniform, a lot of that stuff when I was going down there, that was all done. That was all at the ABC affiliate, WZVN, down in Bonita. That's all gone now. It's all, that's their own. They were bought out by Waterman. Waterman's now been bought out by some big company. Um, it was definitely over 24 hours. It was like 26 hours because it was in both the primetime slots. He did. I'm sure he took naps and rest. He had some rest periods that were 45 minutes long or whatever. But yeah, he was there for the whole show. Jerry was a trooper. Jerry Lewis was a great man. He was not a perfect man. Nobody was, but he was a great man and a great comic. And there you go, New York, WWOR. Um, Yeah, it was on in every town because it was on one of whichever affiliate had it that year. I know ABC did it a lot because ABC was the lowest of the four rated networks or three rated networks at the time, and they did it a lot because when your ratings are really bad and you're not making a lot of money, you push your paid advertisement out and you put something like that telethon in, and that concentrates your advertising in other days, and it gives you that big huge tax write off, and it also of course helps uh, helps the philanthropy. Oh, my lamp went off. Anyway, so there you go. The fire departments down here used to be very involved in the community. Now they're just a bunch of union firemen that show up and work and they go home. Most of them don't even live where they work. They just that's where they're getting paid and that's where they show up and that's where they leave. Boy, it is really raining there in the Bahamas now. That shit is really coming down. Um, we can see here. I also want to do a quick check on weather. Um, but you can see here these cameras are I believe they're on the main island right here. Yeah, yeah, Nassau, that's it right there. So they're on this island right here. They got and the center of rotation is almost right over these camera site. You can literally see this. Um, this is the intermediate, the 8 p.m. intermediate advisory. This is 2 hours old. So that storm's sitting right about here. And you can kind of see the center of circulation right over Nassau. Nassau. I mean, you can really see it. The circulation is pretty much sitting right there. And that's why we're starting to see some pretty gusty winds, lots of heavy rain there on the two Bahamas cameras. All right, well, there you go. And we're actually seeing this from here, US based radar. So, how far out is this? Well, let's take a look. Storm's right about there, and that puts it from downtown Miami. That's about 186 miles. And let's see, from my studio over here, my studio's right there. And we're talking about 300 miles from where I'm at right now. So 300 miles away, the radar site's here. That circle you see right there, that's a 150-mile range. That circle is 150 miles. And then you go out. This is more almost 200 miles out from the radar site. But those radar sites do pretty good, man. You know, you get 250 miles usually, but that last 100 miles is not as reliable. And you have to remember, you get fade when you are looking at a radar site like this. As the radar signal goes out, it hits the rain and it bounces back, and that's how it works. Well, what ends up happening, but to read this piece of rain out here, okay, the radar had to come here and it has to go all through this rain and then bounce off the rain and then come back all the way through all that rain again to get back to the radar site. And what ends up happening is this looks all faded. See how this looks all faded, like it's hardly there? It's actually a lot more there than you think. It's just most of that signal return is being ate up by all the rain that it has to go through literally twice to get there and come back. And remember, we're bouncing off little teeny rain droplets 250 miles away from the radar site. And it's traveling through 80 miles of heavy rain to get to where it has to bounce and come back through all that heavy rain a second time. So kind of an interesting thing the way that works there. Anyway, there you go. I won't bore you anymore with that. Stop it. I won't bore you anymore with the radar theory. Radar, another thing we have because of war. I hate to admit it, we probably would still have the technology today, but the reason that we got radar when we got it was they were trying to see planes coming across oceans. That's literally where radar came from. And then one day they're like, hey, look, we can see rain on this thing. You know, early radar was actually being tested. And they saw on early radar the attack on Pearl Harbor. But they didn't act on it because it looked so big and so weird. And this technology was so still young and had not been developed or tested or vetted yet that they didn't report it at first. Yeah, I can look real quick. Yeah, there's one at the oh, there we go. Yeah, there's one here. This is at Calypso Beach Cam at the Bahamas. It's not showing much. It's just like a tree. Um, let me see. Yeah, that looks like that same one. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see that other one. There's Elbow K. I think it might be Elbow K. K is just another word for island. Uh, I keep wanting to do my Jamaican accent. It's Elbow K, man! Are you at the bumper clock? But this is nowhere near there, so it wouldn't make any sense, would it? Jesus, clickbait bullshit. Okay, nope, I don't see anything else. When it comes to um, the Bahamas, there's not that many cams out there that are up at this point. Um, yep. Yeah, old Jerry Lewis. He was a good man. He did a lot of good work. He was a wonderful actor and comedian, and he was a wonderful philanthropist. And it sucks too because you don't hear about MDA anymore. I don't know if they're raising money or they still doing research. That I know they didn't cure the thing. It's something you like have and you can't get rid of. It's like a degenerative thing. Um, Heath, I may even bring one of them with me when I come up there. I've got a I've got three cameras that are mounted on weather boxes. I wish I had one here I could show you. It's a weather box like you would buy to hook up your phone system in or whatever. Um, but they're pretty big. They're about, I don't know, 10 inches by 8 inches by 6 inches, like that. And what we do is inside there, we use I've got an example of one right here. This is an N radio, but there's several different kinds and different ones. This is a wireless radio card. You put a SIM card in here. It works on a cellular, 3G cellular. They make them in 5G now if you want. Um, this goes in the box, and I don't have it in here, but I've got these big batteries. I'm buying them from China. I got a 100. It's like 100 amp hour. It's big. It fits in the box. This fits on top of it, and then the door closes, and the camera is mounted on the outside of the box. The camera and this are powered off of the battery that's in there. Um, we used this technology after Hurricane Ian. Um, the next time there was going to be a flood, the next storm, we put this up, and it actually worked. We were able to unfortunately, watch my mother's house flood for the third time. And I'm trying to get see if I can find it here. Give me just a second here. You know what? I know I've got it in here. Here we go. Yeah, it's I'll put the link in here if you want to check it out later, but I'll put it over here real quick and we'll look at it. This was the surge cam, we called it. Okay, so yeah, here's what it looked like, um, and you can see there. That's my neighbor's house. My mom's neighbor's house. I used to live there. I grew up at this house, the one across the street from this house, and you can see there's a foot of water inside there, almost a foot of water inside that house at this point. But this camera used that system I just told you about. And we had everything all set up in here, and you can see we moved the camera around. There it is. The storm's hitting at this point, and you can see the wind, and the water has rose. The street's gone. It's up inside the homes at this point. And you can see there that that's actually the box that you can see in the upper left corner there. Um, Power stayed on for much of the storm, um, because it was more of a flooding event than it was. And we had just gone through Ian, and we had just gone through another one about 2 months before this, or a month before this. So our power lines were all new. Everything's been fixed, everything's been hardened. And so when this storm hit, much of the power stayed up. You saw a lot of power flashes, though. So, I mean, a lot of people did lose power. Um, but see, yeah, we could move. We would be able to move that camera all around, and we'd be able to look down inside the homes. Look at that. That road's under several feet of 3 feet of water right now. And those are power flashes, by the way, in the distance. And what we're going to do in the next storm, I bought the stickers. I've already got the stickers. I'm going to take 2x4s, 2x4 piece of wood, right? And strap it to the pole across the street, and it's going to have 5-inch numbers all the way down it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can see how deep the water is getting. So we literally had this in an area where, you know, of course, the phones, the internet, were all out. But this uses cellular service. And the thing is the cellular service, when you're up on a pole, 20 feet up on a pole, we can get cell service from pretty far away. So this stayed up the whole time. This actually is the box that did this camera. The camera had infrared lights and white lights, but it works best by just using the ambient light because it's got like a starlight chip in it. It sees almost in the dark. So we tried a couple times to turn the different light packages on, but it didn't seem to help. I'm just kind of fast forwarding it. By the way, this footage was used on Wink TV quite extensively during this storm, and they left our logos up and everything. I wrote them and gave them permission. I worked there, so I gave them permission to use my feed. Victor, I occupied myself by having 3 generators and keeping them running constantly so that the air conditioners would work. That's actually the canal across the street over there. That's where the water come up out of. So we can't wait. I can't wait at this point to get this to where we've got this in a hurricane zone. This camera will take a lot more wind and rain than it took here. And I can't wait to get this camera up somewhere where we're in the storm, you know, Cat 4 or whatever. Yeah, it was thinking inside the box, I think. Um, so anyway, I put that link up there so you guys can go back and look at this video anytime you want. It's there. Throw a thumbs up on there for me. Um, but yeah, that's all there is to that. Um, that's the kind of coverage that we want to produce. Now, I have 3 cameras now. One camera setup has 3 cameras. One camera setup has 2 cameras on it, and one camera setup has 1 camera on it. And I currently have 2 air devices and a couple of batteries. So I mean, you know, for a couple $100, I can have 3 systems up and running. I've already got all the boxes and everything. Did we just have a launch? Guys, I think we just had a launch. They're bringing it back. Here it is. This is the where it lands. This one is a smaller one, so it's going to land on the barge. This just took off. I'm sorry, I didn't realize this was going on. It uses the rocket thrust, it uses those air paddles that you see there, and it uses thrusters, all in conjunction, being used by a single computer to keep that thing upright on its descent. You can see the little thrusters going off. You can see the little paddles moving. Those paddles direct airflow. Hey, BJ. In many ways, we've advanced so far, but in many ways, that rocket motor there's not much different than the ones that took Neil Armstrong to the moon. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, we've come a long way, but it's still the same basic science. It still has to be done kind of the same way. Here it comes. There it is. Stick it. Landing gears down. Look at that. Son of a bitch. Look at that. And we thought that landing rockets like this was really, really cheesy in the old sci-fi movies. Little did we know that that's how they were going to land the damn things. Oh, there you go, car. You made it. That's awesome. Thank you, everybody. That. Whoops! I hit the button. I shouldn't have hit the button. What the hell? There it is. I lost it. Oh, they lost it, I think. Yeah, they're losing their feed here. Uh-oh. That usually doesn't mean anything negative. All right, so there you go. Another launch there, another successful capture. You guys know when that first stage comes down and lands on that barge, that saves $1 million. Like every time they do that, it saves $1 million. It's crazy. Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that was that. That was a quickie. But hey, we did it, right? That's all that matters. All right. Well, thank you to everybody that helped us out with Carlotta's channel. Look at that, guys. 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers. There it is right there. All right. Thank you, everybody, for helping her out on that. That was very nice of everybody. Very nice. Very nice, Clark. Yep, and Cracker Barrel announced that not only are they not going to do any of those renovations, they now have announced they're going to put the four that they already changed back. Heath, I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things that you have to assume that's going to happen. But I also know that our our country has the ability to put anything up there we need to. We have a space force. They have their own rockets. We just don't know about most of what they do. Um, but I also believe that they could have it done with Elon as well. It is a business after all. And if you want to pay as a contractor, and then yeah, we'll move your shit for you. All right, very good, very good. All right, guys, I've been on about an hour and 16 minutes. I'm gonna throw it up over onto the chat room. Let me know what you guys want to talk about, if anything. Let me know what is on your mind. There you go. It's dark now over there in LA. We're in the twilight phase there, and so some of those are definitely live. And then the other one there, I believe there's at least one there from Chicago that's live. And on the two right screens there, we are continuing to watch the live cams coming up out of Nassau in the Bahamas. There is literally a tropical storm that's forming right over the top of them right now. It's literally forming over the top of them. And right when I draw attention to those channels, they do their little 10 or 15 minute reset here. But there they go. No worries. Okay, so there we go. That's our two live views out of Nassau in the Bahamas. There we go. All right, so that's what's going on in the world right now. Right above me here is all the latest information on Imelda. Imelda, which is going to be taking a hard right turn once it gets past the Space Coast in about 24 hours. It's going to take a hard right turn, and it is out of town. I don't think so, Heath, but let me run it and see if there's anything new that comes out. In the meantime, I've been following it over here. Fox does this thing when they're doing breaking news like this, where CNN does the same thing actually, where they will start a page and the page just has the updates rolling down, and I do like that. All right, 1 hour ago was posted. It's now being learned that many of the adults actually shielded the children down in the pews when this guy started opening fire, and that they're acknowledging the heroism of a number of adults, some of which took fire. There's now a total of 4 dead. We already mentioned that. So yeah, I don't see anything new here. Let me just do a hard refresh and make sure. I think the craziest thing I saw was that the day before, yesterday, 2 days ago, 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 2 The day before this, steel. Russell M. Nelson, the former president of the LDS Church and their spiritual leader, died at 101 years old. He left behind 10 children, 57 grandchildren, and 167 great grandchildren. Spaceballs 2. That's going to be fun. I think they pulled old Rick Moranis out of mothballs for this one. He don't do a lot of acting. Yeah, I did not see a later press conference. Nor do I see an update. The latest update is an hour old. And I've already read it to you. That was the 2 additional dead. Yeah, the church is still saying they don't know this guy. He was not part of their congregation. It's probably going to be randomly chosen church. It may not even be LDS that they were choosing. It was probably just a Christian church that the guy wanted to blow up or shoot up or whatever. It feels different, Heath. I completely agree. That's why I said earlier, I would not bet on this one following the pattern of the last 7 or 8. We've had a lot of them in a row now that have all been of the same type. Hey Brandon, what's up, buddy? I'm glad you guys made it tonight. Boy, that water's getting rough too. The 2 views on the lower right are live from Nassau, Bahamas, where you can see the tropical storm is forming right over the island as we speak. Storm data is right above me. Above that is just the news wheel from Fox. And then we've got the 2 views over there are a bunch of different views coming in of the, they're starting to reduce down because I can see duplicates now. There's not that many people broadcasting. Those are from protests going on in Chicago, LA, and Portland, I think. They're anti-law and order protest. Yes. Yeah, I do. I can do supers. Here's how I feel about I don't ask for supers. I don't even remind you guys I take supers because I don't, if you have the money and you want to send it, that's fine, but I'm not going to try to separate you from your money. I appreciate you guys watching, and I don't do the hard sell on them. If people want to throw something in there, that's fine, but it's certainly not necessary. Just the ability to be able to do this and build my channel, and eventually be able to survive on ad revenue. That's what I'm looking. That's what I'm definitely looking to do. And I'm encouraged by a lot of people to do paid memberships, but I can barely keep up with the content I'm putting out now. And unless I can grow my numbers a lot more than I'm at now, I'm certainly not doing memberships. But I will eventually, especially if I find staff, or if I find help, or if I find other ways to do things, whatever. I mean, I'm not ruling it out. But after a while, I probably will do some kind of membership, but it's going to be a little while. Bill, I am a ham radio operator, KO4EFS, and so is Heath and several others in here. This channel basically started as a ham radio channel, but it's kind of evolved or devolved, however you want to look at it, into what it is today. Yeah, the Hurricane WatchNet is not active. I've been checking, and I don't, since it's not a landfalling storm, they will not be activating the Hurricane WatchNet. I've got amateur radio from Florida up, It's silent right now. There's nothing going on. We're not even really getting any bad weather here, so I don't think this is pretty much a non-event for us down here. Um, but as far as working stations in an affected area, I've never done it. I do broadcast, like I say, the Hurricane Watch Net. I don't think it affects me if you skip the ad. As long as it comes up and then you hit skip, I get credit for it. Yeah, well, yes. Normally, as a member, if you paid me, and you can do it, I think the cheapest is like a dollar a month, and then you would get extra content. You would have access to extra things. You would get to see videos that are for members only. So that means I would need to produce even more content than I'm producing now, and I'm having a real hard time. As we go into the next few years, and I have personnel changes, if you know what I mean, I may find people that want to work with me. I may find people that want to do stuff. Um, I may not be working at the radio station. Who knows what's going to happen in 2 or 3 years, you know? Um, and I may move to Georgia. I may whatever. So the whole point of the thing is um, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to be or what I'm going to be doing exactly, but I do know that the base of my future is YouTube. I really want to do YouTube full time. Once I move to Georgia, it will be full time. I will go live anytime there's breaking news or pursuits or whatever. I'm going to have it all set up. Um, but yeah, as long as you're watching, here's the things that help me and the things that hurt me. And I'm just going to be honest. If you click into one of my videos and it plays for 10 or 15 or 20 seconds, and you click the thumbs up and you exit back out of the video again, that hurts me. Because the fact that you didn't stay and watch the video actually hurts me more than the thumbs up helped me. So what you want to do is don't go into any of my videos unless you have enough time to let it sit for a few minutes. What I do, if I'm trying to help somebody out, which I do with Carlotta and I do with several others, is I'll start watching one of their videos and then I'll just move it to a side screen and turn the volume down and just let it play. That helps. Um, Watching content, the longer you watch, the better. That's why I tell people if you leave your computer on overnight, which most people do now, um, just leave it playing on a live stream, on somebody's live stream or something, and that helps that person. Or go back and find my Charlie Kirk coverage and watch that all the way through or something. That's how you help a channel. Watching the content is the number one thing you can do to help a channel. It's more important than thumbs up. It's more important than bells. It's more important than impressions or any of that kind of stuff. It's how long you watch each video that you start watching. That's the number one metric. And then, you know, from there it goes down. There's a lot of other things too, but yeah, Coco, I'm going to do it. I need, I've got stressors and pressors in my life right now that will probably not be there, you know, going forward for very long. Things are, I'm going to have more time to do this kind of stuff, say 6 months or a year from now. So it's all on the plate. It's all on the burner. It's going to happen, but it's not today. This is where I'm at today. Um, yes, and my members will have an emoji, of course. Yeah, no, it'll be just like any other one. I plan on doing this, guys, but it's going to be very inexpensive. It's going to be like $1 a month. It's just to support the channel. And get the little logo or something. And I want to be able to offer a few perks or something. There's got to be something I can offer. I'm thinking about having like a private Google Drive where I put all my special programs, all the different programs and stuff in there, and giving members access to that. Um, yeah, and that really helps. I'm having a problem on that backup channel. I'm getting a lot of hits, but I'm not getting a lot of watch time, and I can't. I'm almost at 500 subs. Once I get to 500, I can do level one monetization. Um, that still doesn't get me ad revenue, but it's a step in the right direction. So, people think you make a lot of money on YouTube, and let me tell you something. It's just like any other business. Um, you know, if you're Rush Limbaugh, you make a lot of money. If you're a local host, you really don't. If you're some producer, you don't make a whole lot of money. It's like any other job, just because it's, whatever. YouTube's that way too. If you've got a smaller channel, even at 17,000 subs like I have, putting out content every single day, I could not live on what I make. I could not live conservatively on what I make, even though this structure is owned, and I own the cabin in the mountains as well, and I own my car, and I don't pay a mortgage or a rent on anything. I own everything in my life. I'm picky about that. Even this building, we paid on it, but it's paid off now. And but even though I've got everything in my life paid off and I live fairly inexpensively, I still could not live on YouTube money. So it's not as much money as people think. Does that not mean that these guys don't make it big? Yeah, when you see a guy that's got a silver plaque and he's putting out content every day, he could probably just about live on that. You get a guy that's got a gold plaque, 1 million viewers, he's doing great. He's making great, mad money. He's in Disney World. I mean, he's good. So, yeah, you can make it in YouTube. You can make it small and you can make it big, or you could just make it a job. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not looking to make it big, big, big. I'm just looking to make it. And I'd like to have a legacy so that when I do die in 10 or 15 or 20 years, that my work lives on. My thoughts and my efforts and my knowledge can live on in this format. I think it's cool. I think it's important. Um, yep, we're gonna get it. I think that I'm at a stall point right now, but all it's going to take is a few more big incidents, and plus continuing to do this all the time like I'm doing it now, and I will get to that silver plaque. I know I will. I've set my sights on it, and that's my goal, and I'm going to keep working until I get there. Absolutely. Um, yes, I will try to do that, Heath. I should do that anyway, and I try to do that. Um, yeah, I will definitely try to do that. The Ian hologram. Um, yeah. Yeah, another thing that really helps videos, and I proved this when we had an event a while back. We had a shooting or something. It was a manhunt, and I put up 2 channels on the manhunt, and then I went live on here, where I'm hosting coverage of the manhunt, and one of my other streams got more viewers. You want to know why? 5 or 6 guys got on there and started arguing about politics, and I had a chat rate of like 15 going on or something, which means 15 new messages per minute. And because of all that chat activity on that channel ended up, before long, it had 150 viewers on there, and it's just a scanner channel. But because there was this entertaining conversation going on, and more people were staying because they were reading the conversation. The algorithms picked it up and kept promoting it and promoting it. And next thing you know, I can't get anywhere near those numbers here on a hosted channel. So anyway, yeah, Heath, I didn't think about it. I mean, I assume everybody's reading the chat room like I am. But I also know there's a delay. By the time it gets up there and I get to see it and then I respond to it and there's a video delay going back, it could be a minute or two before you type it and I see it. Um, he's a wanker. I don't know. I don't know. I try not to run people off, but sometimes it's like, come on, dude. Bloody wanker. I think he was just that same troll that has 50 different names. It's that same. I don't know. I have this troll that comes in every night, and he tries to act like a different person, and by the time he gets to the third thing, he's saying the same thing he said the night before. He says, "My studio is green screen and it looks fake." I can prove it's real. It's really here. Anyway, let's see here. Trump. uh, bloody wanker. Bloody wanker. All right, guys. Is there anything else before we close it down tonight? I don't know, Victor. Let me see. Let me see who I got out here. Nobody. Okay, you get Daddy Kitty 2 nights in a row. I don't know what to tell you. He's the only one I can find. I think Ed's already in bed. Is that where Ed is? Hey, Daddy, what you doing, Bubba? It's his Daddy Kitty. Uh. Anyway, guys, I'm going to be signing off here in a few minutes, but this is Starship Studios. We are live here in Southwest Florida. Hey, look, that camera is working. Look, it's working. That camera never works, and it's working. Oh my God. uh, that is weird that camera started working tonight, and it screwed the formatting all up. But anyway, there you go. That's what it is. That's what it is. All right, so wow, that is so weird that I'm gonna have to reformat that whole thing. Anyway, I'll fix that. This camera's working. I've got 7 cameras, but like getting more than 3 or 4 of them working at one time is well, it's not easy. Let me just put it that way. All right, let's see here. Anybody have anything else? I know what you want, Daddy Kitty. I told you the story of Daddy Kitty the other night. Pops. Yeah, we call him Pops or Daddy Kitty. And Car, I told them the entire story last night about the kittens and how he raises the kittens when we get them in here, and just his absolute. He hears the mew mew mew, and he freaks out because he knows he's got more kittens to take care of. He just loves them. So anyway, all right. So there we go. Live views of Nassau in the Bahamas. Very good, Junior. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do everything. I gotta let it happen as I have the time to do it. That's all. What did you do? You just somehow shut down my browser. How did you do that? The installer integrity check has failed. Oh my god, I lost my primary browser. Wow. All right, well, you know what that means. I can no longer see the chat room either. So I'm going to go ahead and end this thing because I can't see anything else anyway. So there you go. All right, guys, live from Starship Studios in Southwest Florida. My name's Ian. This has been the Sights and Sounds of Earth right here on Starship Adventures. And we'll see you tomorrow night for our Monday night edition. And by then, we should start to see this storm making the right turn. And maybe we'll have some more information on the big incident in Michigan today and more. So we'll have all that for you tomorrow. Thanks for being here, everybody. Again, 7-3s. Have a safe tomorrow. And have a good night out there. We'll see you later.